OK, well, let's get some insight on those figures with the help of Michael Kitson. He's with Judge Business School at Cambridge University. He specialises in regional economics, macroeconomic policy and international trade. Just the right person to talk to today. Thank you very much indeed.
Good morning.
For coming on the Pulse. If we just have a look at these figures, right in line with expectations, stubbornly above 3%, but does it really matter? Is it important? We're being told that, listen, the big thing is stagflation, or basically a slowdown in the economy, and we shouldn't really be too concerned about what's happening with inflation. Is that right?
That's part of the story, but I think we do have to be concerned with inflation in the UK. It's above many other countries, and it's above the target of the Bank of England. The target's 2%, and as we've just heard, it's 3.1%. Now, the bank thinks it's going to come down. It's going to come down over the next 6 months. It's going to particularly come down in the new year. If it doesn't come down, that's bad for interest rates, because interest rates are likely to go back up in the medium term, and that will, of course, hamper recovery in the longer term. So these things, inflation, economic growth and unemployment are all related. So we need to be concerned about inflation if it remains stubbornly high. The bank is very hopeful that it will come down in the new year. But if it doesn't come down, and there's a lot of uncertainty about that, if it doesn't come down, we can see interest rates going back up, and that will be of a concern for the recovery.
With the budget cuts that we're expecting on the 20th of October, what do you think that is? Is that going to have an effect and impact on the inflation directly?
Yeah, they should put some downward pressure on inflation because it's taking demand out of the economy. But as you mentioned before, the big concern is economic growth and recovery. And what the concern must be is that we're going to have a fiscal contraction coming in next week. And if we have inflation going back up, in the new remaining high and not coming down in the new year, we could have a tightening of monetary policy. So we're in a double grip. We'll have a tightening of fiscal policy and we'll have a tightening of monetary policy, and that's going to be very difficult for the economy to recover significantly in the medium to long term. So there is a real concern because there's very little latitude now to decrease interest rates further.
Indeed.
So we can't decrease interest rates. Fiscal policy is getting tighter. Where's the stimulus going to come from?
So in terms of monetary policy, what can be done if we are in that position come January, February of next year, where we've still got high inflation and yet we're seeing a slowdown in the economy after these cuts? Monetary policy, what actually can it do? What are the options? QE?
Well, QE is the only option left. We have three options to stimulate the economy. Fiscal policy, but the government's saying, no, forget that, we need to cut the deficit. Monetary policy is low at the moment, and it depends on future inflation. The only other option is quantitative easing, printing money to most people. But that option will go if inflation remains high. OK, because they'll be concerned that the ways that generate inflation are either low interest rates or it's printing money. So the printing money option will depend on what's the path of inflation in the future. It's got to come down over the next 6 months. It's got to get back to that 2% target. We could argue the Bank of England is largely... the Bank of England's job is to keep inflation at a 2% target. It's missing that target. It's saying it's OK, we're going to hit it next year, the path of inflation is coming down. But it needs to do that in the longer run. That's its job.
OK, Mr. Kitson, thank you very much indeed for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.